think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists, but they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
We'll be right back.
Karoline Leavitt had just done the unthinkable. She won an $800 million lawsuit against The View, and now she's coming for Whoopi Goldberg with full force. What began as a smear campaign on daytime television turned into one of the biggest courtroom battles in media history. Karoline didn't just fight back, she shattered the opposition with legal firepower. Reporters nearly tripped over themselves trying to get a shot of her walking through the courthouse. Hair flawless, stare deadly, and her legal team surrounding her like a presidential motorcade. This wasn't a minor legal issue. This was a cultural earthquake. Millions had watched Karoline be ridiculed on live TV, and now they were watching her rise like a phoenix out of the flames. Whoopi Goldberg was nowhere in sight. While Karoline entered the courthouse like a champion, Whoopi's absence spoke louder than any press statement could. Speculation flooded the internet. Was Whoopi hiding? Was she dodging the press? Or was she just stunned that Karoline had crushed The View in court?
Raised a few eyebrows using the Bible to support the idea of kids getting gender change surgeries. Take a look.
This is a party that says we believe in parents' rights. You're telling me that as a parent, I'm not smart enough to decide if my child and I need to have gender affirming. Our doctors are not involved. What is going on? So I can't decide what my kid reads. I can't decide for my child what my child says is going on. You're telling me your beliefs, and they keep saying it, and I keep saying, what Bible are you reading? Because God was really clear.
Very clear.
I would say this is a new low for The View, but it isn't. They've gone way lower before. It's certainly on brand for The View.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Whatever you're saying, this is the first time that she's been she may be. But my point is that job would not maybe have been open to her.
No, I understand. I just wanted to clarify.
The View's audience had laughed when they mocked Karoline on air, but nobody's laughing now. That $800 million judgment hit like a bomb. In the courtroom, silence broke into gasps when the jury read the verdict. Karoline Leavitt, vindicated. The View, liable. Even legal analysts on cable news said they'd never seen a slam-dunk case like this unfold in real time. It was like watching David beat Goliath, except David brought receipts. The judge didn't hesitate. His gavel slammed, and with it came one of the largest defamation payouts in television history. Outside, the crowd exploded with cheers. Some held posters with Karoline's face on them. Others shouted that it was a victory for truth and accountability. People weren't just celebrating money. They were celebrating justice. Karoline had stood up to one of the most powerful platforms in daytime TV and won. And just when it seemed like the drama had peaked, Karoline filed another lawsuit, this time targeting Whoopi Goldberg directly. She's not stopping with the show. She wants Whoopi held responsible for her on-air attacks, and legal experts say she's got a solid case. Insiders claim Karoline was personally targeted, called names, and painted as dangerous, all without a single chance to defend herself on that couch. One source inside ABC said Whoopi ran her mouth with zero restraint, and now the entire studio is paying the price for letting it happen. Behind the scenes, ABC execs are reportedly scrambling. Multiple high-ranking producers are said to be in emergency meetings trying to contain the fallout. Meanwhile, Karoline's team is celebrating like it's election night. Her spokesperson called the win a warning shot for anyone who thinks they can destroy reputations without consequences.
So thrilled to have you with me. And you would think, ABC, having just paid $15 million for a defamation lawsuit, would think not to engage in conspiracy theories about assassination attempts, but I guess that's too much to ask from The View. I mean, I got to ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job, and then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go.
Social media is blowing up. Hashtags like Karoline1 and Sue the View are trending across platforms. People are picking sides. Some are praising Karoline as a fighter who refused to be silenced. Others are saying The View dug its own grave by getting personal. And now all eyes are on what happens next, as Karoline marches toward another trial and Whoopi prepares to face her most personal legal battle yet. Inside legal circles, this new lawsuit is being called a career ender for Whoopi if it doesn't go her way. The stakes have never been higher, and the cameras are rolling non-stop. Karoline isn't just looking for money now. She's fighting to make an example out of media elites who think they can say anything without consequences. People close to Karoline say she was deeply hurt by the insults flung at her on national TV, but that pain has now become fuel for justice. The courtroom documents are brutal. They list specific episodes, direct quotes, and point out how Whoopi personally contributed to defaming Karoline with malicious intent. Some fans of The View are in shock. I used to love Whoopi, one posted, but watching her laugh at Karoline's expense doesn't feel so funny now. Others are standing by Karoline fiercely, sharing clips, making fan edits, and calling her a modern-day warrior against corrupt media. A former staffer on The View reportedly said, "We were told to hit hard, but this went way too far. They didn't expect Karoline to hit back harder." Panic is spreading inside ABC's headquarters. Damage control meetings are stacking up, and the word is they may be preparing to cut ties with Whoopi if this second case explodes. Multiple advertisers are already pulling back, afraid to be associated with a show now stained by scandal and legal danger. And now, Whoopi's inner circle is reportedly divided. Some want her to issue a public apology, while others are warning her to keep quiet and ride it out.
What still excites you about coming to work here?
Getting paid. I do enjoy a paycheck. I'm not going to lie. But, listen, this is a place where you can come and say what you think, and as long as that is what the job is, I'm happy to be here. I just leave. I go home. I go home to my life, and I take care of my cat and do all the stuff I'm supposed to.
Public apology or not, it may already be too late. The momentum is with Karoline, and she's not slowing down. Meanwhile, Karoline's supporters are calling for a boycott of The View until justice is fully served. They think they're untouchable, one user wrote, but not anymore. Talk shows, podcasts, and influencers are all weighing in. Some are applauding Karoline's courage, while others are stunned that someone actually stood up to the daytime TV giants. Late-night hosts are trying to joke about it, but no one's really laughing. This isn't just a headline, it's a full-blown media reckoning. Whispers are swirling that this could lead to even more lawsuits. Other public figures are watching closely, thinking maybe they should have sued too. As the news spread, reporters stormed every corner of ABC studios, hoping to catch even a glimpse of Whoopi Goldberg, but all they found were locked doors and silence. Inside, sources say Whoopi hasn't spoken to most of her co-hosts since the second lawsuit was filed. "She's furious, humiliated, and feels abandoned," said one insider. Tension is boiling behind the scenes. Joy Behar reportedly snapped at a producer and stormed off set during a commercial break. Some producers want to cut ties with Whoopi before the court date even hits, but firing her could cause another media explosion. Social media has become a war zone. Hashtags like Cancel the View and Team Karoline are dominating timelines, while Karoline's fan base grows louder by the hour. Influencers are analyzing every second of The View's past footage, digging up clips that now seem way more hostile than people noticed at the time. "This is about accountability," she told one host.
Like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was a Nazi. That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day.
"I'm not afraid of celebrities who hide behind applause and scripted opinions." The audience roared with applause when she said it, and clips of the moment are now trending across TikTok and YouTube like wildfire. Sources say The View's legal team begged Whoopi to settle quietly, but she reportedly refused, claiming, "I'll fight this in court." But experts say that's risky. With Karoline's momentum and the public on her side, a trial could backfire in devastating ways. Already, there are whispers of other past guests considering legal action. Some claim they were misrepresented, edited unfairly, or mocked without mercy. This could snowball into something massive, potentially a class action wave against The View if other voices start coming forward. Even some former staff members are being contacted by reporters, people who saw what happened behind the scenes and may now be willing to speak. "You have no idea what was said off camera," one anonymous source hinted. What Karoline experienced wasn't even the worst of it. Lawyers are quietly reaching out to potential witnesses, hoping to secure testimonies that could break the second case wide open. And still, Whoopi hasn't made a single public statement. Her silence is deafening, and it's starting to hurt her even more. The network is running out of options. Pull the plug on the show, suspend Whoopi, or gamble it all and risk another $800 million disaster. The walls are closing in, and Karoline's not stopping. Every step she takes sends shockwaves through the media elite. And just when everyone thinks they've seen the worst, Karoline's legal team hints that more revelations are coming. When Whoopi walked into the room, the energy shifted. She looked tired, pale, and furious. She didn't glance at the crowd or her own legal team. She sat down, folded her arms, and stared straight ahead. Cameras were banned from this courtroom, but sketches and transcripts would soon be all over the internet. Karoline entered minutes later, composed, polished, and unapologetically bold. There was no fear in her eyes, only focus.
They are enjoying their lowest approval rating ever because this is who they are trying to represent. These far-left activists who don't stand for anything. They only stand against Donald Trump, and they hate, as you just heard from that one individual who wished death upon the President of the United States, they not just hate him, they hate the nearly 80 million Americans who elected to vote him.
I respect everything everyone is saying to me, and I don't want to fake apologize. I was very upset about that people are misunderstood what I was saying.
People whispered that she looked like someone walking into a final round she already knew she'd win. The opening arguments lit the room on fire. Karoline's attorneys laid out a blistering case, clip by clip, comment by comment, each one showing how Whoopi had maliciously and repeatedly insulted, mocked, and tried to discredit Karoline in front of millions. The courtroom was silent as they played one particular clip from The View, where Whoopi sarcastically questioned Karoline's brain cells after a policy debate. Several people in the courtroom visibly flinched at the raw tone. Whoopi's team tried to push back. They claimed it was all political commentary, that her words were just opinion. But the judge didn't look convinced, and the jury, they were scribbling notes faster than ever. Karoline's team then presented internal emails from the show's producers, some of which reportedly encouraged taking jabs to boost ratings. One even suggested making Karoline look out of touch and unstable. That email alone made jaws drop across the courtroom. Then came Karoline's turn to speak. She took the stand calmly and didn't hold back. She described how the public humiliation affected her career, her health, her mental state. Her voice cracked, but she never cried. "I was ridiculed. I was dehumanized," she said, "and I was never even invited to defend myself." Whoopi refused to testify. Her lawyers claimed it would exacerbate media frenzy, but everyone knew she didn't want to be cross-examined under oath. It looked like retreat, and the jury noticed. The trial lasted only 4 days, but it felt like a month of national drama. Outside the courthouse, protests erupted, some defending Whoopi, others demanding The View be cancelled for good. Then came the verdict, and the courtroom went breathless. The jury found Whoopi Goldberg personally liable for defamation and emotional distress. The damages awarded $75 million. Reporters screamed into their microphones as Karoline's legal team raised their hands in victory once again.
She'll be great. She's young, but she's wise beyond her years, and she has access to the president, which is something someone didn't have, and that would be the person in the last 4 years until towards the end when they would let her have access. And also, Karine Jean-Pierre would say that Joe Biden was running circles behind the scenes at the White House. It absolutely wasn't true. And if you want to trace directly how all of the Democrats lost, you can go right back to the biggest lie was that one, and they perpetuated it from there. Reminds me of when Mark Cuban said that the president doesn't surround himself by anybody smart. And Joy Behar and those guys, of course this was going to happen. This is why conservative women just have to move on, do their thing, and not worry about the criticism from folks like that.
So, how you feel?
I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
My takeaway is that the system works. We live in a democracy. People spoke. This is what people wanted. I vehemently disagree with the decision that Americans made, but I feel very, very hopeful that we have a democratic system in this country. We should value it. We should love it. We should protest if the situation arises.
Whoopi sat still, motionless, eyes wide. She didn't speak. Some said she looked like she'd aged 10 years in 10 seconds. ABC issued a panicked press release hours later, announcing Whoopi's immediate suspension and a full internal review of The View's editorial practices. Karoline walked out of that courtroom with her head held high and the world watching. 2 lawsuits, nearly $1 billion in combined damages. One woman versus the media machine. The View's future, hanging by a thread. Advertisers have pulled out. Sponsors have gone silent. Reruns were abruptly pulled from major platforms. Industry insiders say the network is considering canceling the show permanently, calling it a liability nightmare. Karoline, meanwhile, has become a national symbol of pushback against smear campaigns, political mockery, and unchecked media power. She's reportedly fielding TV offers, podcast deals, and speaking tours, but she hasn't announced her next move yet. When asked by one reporter if she plans to return to politics or stay in the media spotlight, Karoline simply smiled and said, "I didn't come here to play their game. I came here to change the rules. And with that, she stepped into the black SUV waiting outside, shutting the door on a chapter that shook the media to its core. The View will never be the same. And neither will Whoopi Goldberg. This wasn't just a courtroom win. It was a cultural reckoning, and everyone's still talking about it.